Hey, what's up? It's Comic95, the Savior. So, for this video, I want to talk about something that I've already talked about several different times, and I'm kind of going to repeat some of the things that I've already said, but I feel like it needs to be said again, and maybe in a little bit of a different way. So if you're someone that follows me on Twitter and or Instagram, you've already seen all of the ridiculous stuff that I've had to say. You've seen me just, talk and say exactly how it is. I've hurt people's feelings, whatever. But there's enough people sugarcoating and talking to you guys in a fake and phony way. So I want to try to be real with you. So, first and foremost, if you are not black, I highly suggest that you do not leave a comment on this video, because I don't want you guys, I don't want any of my subs to get into it with each other or for there to be any whatever. I will take the heat. I know that black people are going to come for me for saying this. They get mad anytime I say anything that's real in regards to topics that deal with blacks and Asians. So, let's move on. Also, I want to disclose or say this too. I am not by any means, excuse my voice, I'm sick. I am not by any means trying to downplay or discredit you as a black man or as a black woman, whether you are from Africa, whether you are from America, whether you are from Europe, whatever continent you come from. I am not discrediting your story or your experience. But what I will say is, I don't like when people share their story and they don't make it clear that there's more to the story than what they're telling you. So, for example, if you go outside dressed like a whore in Japan, you are going to get negative male attention. While there is truth to the fact that, yes, most Japanese, I'd argue that most men in the world, I finally cleared my throat, they think lowly of black women and of black men. The first thing that comes to their mind is, oh my god, I've never been with a black guy. Are you big? Are you gonna fuck me good? And then when it comes to black women, it's like, oh my god, I've never been with a black girl. Like, I love fat asses. Like, can you twerk? And so you're already being objectified and fetishized. Right off the bat, that's one of the first things that comes to people's minds. They think of your body in a sexual way. When it doesn't come to that, then there's the fear. Whenever I see black people in movies, you guys, or in the news, you're gangbangers, drug lords, whatever the case happens to be. So there's, both the stupid fear side where we're all supposed to be these monstrous gangbangers, angry, whatever type people. And then there's the other side where it's like, oh, you're gonna give me a good time. I'm gonna have fun with you. Black people love sex and they're great at it. Those are like the two things. But like I said, I feel like it's a little bit unfair when your story about, how you're being treated in Japan is highlighting the fact like, oh, like all Japanese guys do this, or all, Japanese girls treat me this way. But then you leave out what you did while you were here. Now, I am by no means and in no way excusing the behavior of Japanese men. I literally have a whole video with a technically racist title explaining why I don't like Japanese guys. And I don't mean that, I've already explained myself in that video, as in I legitimately don't, because if I didn't, for starts, I wouldn't be in my relationship right now. And I wouldn't talk about guys that I find attractive here. Use your brain, people. But, anyway, it's just, I can't explain it, you guys. You can't come to Japan dressed in an inappropriate way and then act surprised when people treat you inappropriately. You can't look a certain way and expect everyone to love you. That would be the equivalent of me going, I don't know, to some country where the standard of beauty, which this is that place, is being really skinny. And so if you're not, whatever, bad example, long story short, if you don't look the way that people prefer, people have their own preferences. I'm not talking about in regards to racial preferences. That's a borderline topic that we'll talk about later, but I'm talking about body type. A lot of the girls here that complain about, oh, like Japanese men, they don't like me, they have no interest in me. Well, you're a plus size woman, you have 3 kids, you don't take care of your hair, You have a very loud, obnoxious personality. And sure, I'm not telling you to change yourself, but you can't expect everybody to like that. It's much deeper than your race. The other reality, too, that nobody wants to talk about is your black is not the same as my black. I'm not saying, oh, I'm better than you and you're worse than me because you look this way and I look that way. No. What I am saying, though, is you cannot compare your experience to my experience because there's this wonderful word called intersectionality, which if you're not familiar with it, I highly suggest that you look it up. It's basically where different things cross each other, just like an intersection, and it causes people that are having the same experience to have different experiences, so to speak. So for example, I'm a woman. My experience in Japan is not going to be the same as a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman in Japan. My experience in Japan as a black woman will not be the same as a dark-skinned, 6-foot-tall Jamaican woman. You see where I'm going? There's a lot of different things that, go into play. Now, normally intersectionality is more so dealing with, race like black and white, poor and black, things like that. Whereas in Japan, we could throw in some other things. So for example, your body type. Most people here actually do like curves. I'm a curvy girl, you guys. I am not skinny. I wear a size 8. I'm fat. I'm very fat in Japan. I could be bigger. In Japan, I generally wear a size large here, which is generally the biggest size that they have available. I cannot wear everything here. My hips are very wide. I cannot wear jeans. I had trouble buying jeans in America. I have very large breasts. I cannot find a bra with ease, but most stores generally do carry them. They just, basically, my breast size is more like how the girls in America that wear like a double D 44 type thing. That's how I feel here. So I can buy a bra at just about any store, but generally they're not as pretty as the other ones. There's a very limited selection of them to choose from. But there are stores here that cater to girls with large breasts, and I have been able to buy stuff there. But that's all a whole nother story. We're not getting into my shopping. My point is, you can't pretend like it's your race that's causing you to have the problems that you have, when really it's you. It's your personality, it's the way that you look, it's the way that you talk, it's your background. A black American will not have the same experience as a black person from the Caribbean. There's things that we encounter that of course are the same, and I'm not trying to make differences or start a war even though it sounds that way. Stay with me. My point is, don't take someone's advice and be like, oh, I can't go to Japan because they treated this black girl that way. To be honest, most people here don't really pay any mind. They see black as being black on the surface. So for example, when people see me, oh, black girl. They don't say, oh, your skin is light. You couldn't be a nigga. No, that doesn't cross their mind. But what does cross their mind is, oh, she's pretty. Whereas my other friend who has dark skin, they might not see that the same way. She might be seen as scary. And because I am aware of this, I recognize that I have privilege in Japan. I cannot use my experience to tell people, oh no, Japan is wonderful, please come here. It's a gorgeous country. No, nobody's racist. No, because I'm not stupid. I see how people that look different from me get treated. I may still be black, and you may be black as well, but I notice that I don't get treated the same way as my plus-size, dark-skinned black friend. I notice that I don't get treated the same way as my light-skinned friend that, has 2 kids. We're seen differently. Your age plays a factor, your country of origin, your financial status, your education, all of those things, your accent. They do not say these things out loud, but it's subliminally being judged. I always wonder, how exactly is it decided that dark skin is supposed to be seen as scary? Now, mind you, in Japan, I have dark skin. I know it's like, oh no, you're light skin. No, in Japan, I'm dark. I'm considered as a dark-skinned person. They don't have the whole little shade spectrum that we have as African Americans. But in Japan, if you're tan, you're brown, whatever, you're dark. Now, they're not stupid. If you put me next to somebody that's clearly browner than I am, they can see who's the darker one, but they don't make differences with that. Black is black. However, when it comes to seeing things as scary or having interest in liking certain things. Unconsciously, having darker skin is associated with being less attractive, scarier. Whereas having light skin is seen as being attractive, oh my god, you look like Rihanna, celebrity type thing. There's differences. Beyond just your skin complexion, your looks. You can most certainly be in Japan and be unattractive. That goes for anywhere. If you were to go to a bar in America right now, how many people do you think are going to actually hit on you? If the answer is very few to none, why do you expect to come to Japan and have some type of drastic experience where everyone's flying to you? And the reality is, consider yourself as having dodged a bullet. A lot of these guys and a lot of these girls too, they're just using you for sex. They want you to stretch their pussy out and they want to experience being with a girl that got a big booty, big lips, etc. I get messages from guys like this all the time. From them trying to guilt trip you into having sex with them by claiming that they're depressed or whatever. From guys that, go as far to being like, oh, like I love hip hop culture, I love black women, I love black people, you have nice curves, I love your hips, I love your lips, whatever. I'm serious, they literally say this stuff. They make assumptions about you, like, how do you know what my butt look like? So, with that said, it doesn't matter what you look like. Foreigners here in general, whether you're a guy or a girl, but especially if you're a girl, you're seen as a sexual object. It's the truth. And so I don't want to get so drawn off into sex. We'll leave that there. My point is basically saying everyone looks different. Just because we're the same color, even if we're the same shade, you don't have the same facial features that I do. Your body doesn't look the same way that mine does. You're not the same height as me. You're not from the same country as me. You don't have the same educational background as me. You don't have the money that I have. And because of all of those different things, it would be stupid and foolish of you to say that you either like or dislike Japan based off of my experience. Don't think, oh, okay, don't listen to this light-skinned bitch. Let's go to a dark-skinned girl. Let's see what she has to say. Well, she says Japan is bad. I'm dark-skinned too. I'm not gonna go there. Once again, do you look exactly like every dark-skinned person? And I hate to play the colorism game because I know it's gonna make people upset. Like, oh, why are you making differences? The world does make differences. It's true. Even in America, it has already been proven that people with lighter skin, even amongst black people, generally get better treatment than those with dark skin. And I'm not just talking about within the black community. I'm talking about white people who don't even care about the fact that one's light, one's dark. It's just facts. So if you want to ignore it and stick your head in the sand and pretend like, colorism isn't a thing or that people don't have preferences for certain shades, then you're a fool. And to be honest, I can play devil's advocate here. I find that a lot of people forget that just like how you can have a racial preference, which most of these girls won't admit, they'll, be like, oh, I just like Asian men, like, I don't have a fetish, it's like, girl, all your exes are Asian. You came here to date, and that's why everything you talk about is dating. Just be real with yourself. You ain't gotta tell me the truth, but be real with yourself. You know why you're really here. You know why you're, interested in these type of videos. And that's on you. I'm not gonna judge. I used to have the same problem that you did, and I quickly got over it. All you gotta do is date a couple, and you're gonna realize, oh, no different than any other race of men, just comes with more problems, because now you have a language barrier, a cultural, barrier difference, you gotta deal with their family, all of these different crazy rules, etc. And you realize that you're gonna deal with a lot more players and time wasters, and people that are just objectifying you and using you much more than black, and I'd even argue to say white men. But we ain't finna get into that. I ain't finna hurt y'all little feelings. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on that. I'll talk about that in another video. So yeah, don't let these other J-vloggers, these vlogs, and especially don't let no white person tell you what your experience in Japan is gonna be like. They're not even black. And don't let any black person really determine where you're going to travel or not. That's stupid and silly. And the reality is, if you have survived 18 plus years being a black person in America, you are a fucking idiot if you're afraid to travel to another country. Do you see how much crap we went through? Look at what your ancestors went through, and you're afraid to come to Japan? Are you serious? If you can survive dealing with, all of the housing issues and job issues and school issues, etc., and deal with, being called out of your name and racial slurs, etc. in the KKK, and you're afraid to travel overseas because everybody's not going to want to suck your dick and lick your pussy. What? I don't care about people think about me. I used to be like you. I spent so much time searching and trying to figure out, what do Japanese people think about black girls? What do Asians think? What do Koreans think? Why do you care? Why do you care? Because you want to know what? Nobody's ever in any country going to out loud say, hey, I really don't like black people. I think XYZ. No, everything is subliminal. So unless you're looking to get offended, it will seldom happen. Sure, every once in a while I get a message from a troll who got upset because I wouldn't reply to his message. And at the end of it, he'll be like, oh my god, you nigga, or that's why you look like an ape anyway, something like that. I can count the times this happened. I've had about 3. That's it. Do I care? No. Because no Japanese person has the balls to say it to me in real life. Doesn't matter to me. I'm aware that they have, their own little subliminal stereotypes about me from living here and from dating people. My boyfriend's Japanese. I could find out what Japanese people really think about me through asking my friends, through asking my partner, etc. Have I ever seen someone out loud say something like this to me? No. I would never know that they have any ill thoughts or feelings towards blacks because they don't say it. And while you can pick and choose, because I've had even people say that actually makes me more upset, I'd rather them just say it, then pick your poison, bitch. Do you want to be offended or do you not? It's like a damned if you, damned if you don't situation. You're looking for stuff to get mad over. You're looking for reasons not to come here. Are you going to come to Japan or not? You just sound like you're procrastinating to me. So anyway, the reality is the longer you stay in Japan, the more Japanese language and culture that you learn, with emphasis on culture that you learn. Because most of Japanese is not talking. It's the subliminal things. That's how this country runs. They're not going to ignorantly say what they're thinking or feeling most of the time. It's normally their body language, them talking behind your back, the way that they're looking at you, etc. Those are the things that they do. They'll almost never, I won't say never, they'll almost never actually say or do anything racist. And when I say racist, I mean in regards to your actual race. Now, as far as differentiating, them and us, foreigners versus Japanese, you'll see that everywhere. But I'm talking about as a black person. I have been here for years, and I have yet to have even one encounter in which my race was ever brought up, even during, a conflict that I've had in public. It just doesn't happen. Can people do it? Yes. Are there stories of that happening? Yes, most certainly. But once again, it's very rare. And bad stuff happens everywhere. So if that's how you feel, if you're that sensitive, then how did you survive in America? So if all it takes, is for one white person to come up to you and say, fuck you nigger, go back to Africa. Are you going to say, oh my god, I can't take America anymore, I'm going back to Africa, fuck America, white people are horrible? Is that what you're going to do? So why do that with Japan? America is no perfect place either. Japan has a lot to work on, don't get me wrong, and it's behind America, I will say that. But I feel a lot safer here, and you deal with a whole lot less crap than you will and do in America. So I'm not telling you that Japan is all cupcakes and rainbows, and if you got that from this video, you clearly weren't listening, and you clearly haven't watched any of my other videos dealing with race, or, follow me on social media, because I talk about this stuff all the time. But I literally made a list of 10 things that differentiate and make it where your story is different as a black person here. It's not a cut and dry thing. And so this is another thing too, this is gonna hurt a lot of people. I'm gonna lose some black subs, but whatever. I actually don't like these channels that are based around being black in Japan. I'm sorry, I'm just being real. I liked them before I came here, which I'm sure that's why you like them too. You feel like they're giving you some insight. But to be honest, I really just feel like it's doing the opposite of what it's supposed to do. All it's doing is just putting this fear in people's minds that if you're black, you're not going to be treated perfectly. If you're black, your experience here won't be good. But, we're the pioneers. We're fighting to stay in Japan. And it's painting this unrealistic picture of what your experience in Japan is going to be like. Not to mention, Why go to another country if all you're going to do is hang out with other black people? You should have just stayed in America or South Africa, wherever the hell you came from. Why even come here if your whole thing is just, I need to be around other black people to feel safe. I need melanin. I need whatever. And no, the people are like, whoa, like, girl, what are you talking about? Like, shut up. Like, did they brainwash you? No, they haven't. I'm just being real. What is the purpose in traveling? What is the purpose in moving to another country when all you're going to do is look for sameness? All you want is to have an American experience. Sure, there's times where I miss hanging out with black people. Sure, there's times where I want to hang out with black girls or I want to go out with my black friends, etc. I understand that. But the problem is, it's not how most people, do it. Instead, it's, where do they have this at? Where do they have this black stuff? Where can I, do this? Y'all don't want to eat Japanese food. Y'all don't want to hang out with Japanese people. Y'all don't want to date Japanese people. Y'all don't want to do nothing. All you want to do is just complain about Japan. I know it's like, oh my God, like, I know you're not talking about complaining. No, my complaints about Japan are not dealing with, I want everything to be like America. My complaints are more on the legitimate side about crooked crap that goes on around here. But one thing that I don't complain about is stuff that deals with food and or race. For the most part, no, because my country is a lot worse. So again, before someone gets the wrong idea, no, I'm not saying that you can't complain about Japan. I would be a hypocrite. I talk about bad stuff all the time here. And I most certainly do miss doing black stuff and eating black food and hanging out with black people. I'm totally for those things. But what I'm saying is, it's like, it seems like black people, both men and women, seem to like, especially women here, they seem to gravitate towards each other and they create this Gaijin bubble. And I've talked about this before. That is the easiest, quickest, fastest way to not only stereotype yourself, but to ensure that you don't make friends, ensure that you never date here, and to really hurt your experience. Because if you're spending all of your time, still hanging out with black people, not that you can't have black friends, but you get what I mean. You're creating this cult. And Asians do the same thing. If you go to America, go to any college campus, you see that all of the Asians hang out with each other, even if they're of different, racial backgrounds. But normally, they break up into their own. So Koreans with Koreans, Japanese with Japanese, and every once in a while, mingle all together. But you know what I mean? That's basically what I feel like foreigners do here. Sure, those Asians in the U.S. And when I say Asians, I mean people that are not Asian American, but actually from Asia. Sure, they make friends, they date, they party, they have fun, they get jobs, etc. in the U.S., but a lot of them don't. A lot of them spend their whole time inside their little bubble. They have a weird or bad experience because they've never really mingled with other people. They go back home and they're like, oh, I liked my time in America, but yeah, it's just not for me. I didn't feel like I fit in. It's like, bitch, you didn't try. You didn't try. You did nothing to separate yourself from what you're already used to. You have to get out of your comfort zone. I'm not excusing racism here. Japan does have a problem with it. Your life is not going to be perfect. You will have different treatment as a black person in comparison to white people here. And while I hate to say it, as I have already said before, your looks matter a lot in Japan. And so does your background. Not having a degree, talking ghetto, I hate to even use that, just being real. Your complexion, your weight, your height, your country of origin, your accent, all of these things do matter. Do people think they matter? No. If you were to ask a Japanese person, do you care what country I came from? They'd say no. But in actuality, they do. It's subconscious and subliminal. If you ask a Japanese person, are you racist? They'll say no. Then 2 days later, you'll hear them going on a tangent about how much they can't stand Chinese tourists. Interesting. So that's that. All I'm saying is, all of us have different experiences here in Japan. If you're just going to spend all of your time trying to watch every video on what's it like being black, or bad people, in Japan, or bad experiences, or my story on what happened to me in Japan because I'm black, blah, 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 take a second and step back. Look at the video that you're watching. Look at what the person that you're watching looks like. Do they look attractive to you? Do they look like they dress appropriately here? I'm not excusing, people treating you badly based off of how you look or how you dress. But it's the truth. We can stick our head in the sand and be politically correct and pretend like these things don't matter and they don't make differences, but they do make differences. And if you want to lie to yourself and believe that, then you just don't want the truth, and I don't know why you're here. Because the reality is, it does. It makes a huge difference. Every black person doesn't look the same. If you ask someone, oh, like, do you like black women? Well, the average person will say, no, not really. They're not interested in them. Why is that? Because when they think of black women, they think of the ghetto ratchet housewives. They think of, the ugly, fat chick from, ratchet news on Instagram, etc. They're not picturing Beyonce. They're not, picturing, some pretty black girl. That's not what's crossing their mind. Their idea of a black woman is someone loud, ghetto, ratchet, ignorant, bald-headed. That's what they think of. For most people, when they see someone who is attractive, it's like, oh, wow, this person's actually kind of cute. Look at Rihanna. Look at how many white people call themselves liking Rihanna. Now ask those white people, do you like black women? Kind of a hard question to answer, isn't it? They like certain kinds of black women, but not everyone. And I'm not saying this in a bad way. We're the same way. If you ask a black woman, do you like black men? Well, yeah, I do. But I don't like no little nasty, ugly, crusty lip guy. No, I most certainly don't. And I have black guys trying to play that card with me all the time. So for example, since I'm in Japan and people have seen who my boyfriend is, they're like, oh, so you never had some black dick, or you don't like black men, or something like that. And so I'll be like, okay, so because my boyfriend is Japanese, I'm a hater on my own race. I don't like black men, and I've never been with one. Interesting how you made all of these assumptions about me. Just because I don't like you doesn't mean that I don't like black men. Maybe it's because you're fat, you're short, you don't have a degree, you have no educational background, you're a gangbanger, you have a criminal record, and you have 4 baby mamas. Yeah. But we're going to ignore all of that, and the only thing you're going to acknowledge is she doesn't like me because she likes Asian men. That's what you pull out of this. Well, I feel the exact same way where I see a lot of black people here. A lot of black guys and a lot of black girls will be like, oh, Asians are racist, and this, that, and the other, which we ain't gonna get into that. But yes, they most certainly can be, just like any other race of people can be. But it's deeper than that. It's not that the person doesn't like black people, or that they don't hire black people. It's because of how you look. It's because of how you are. It's your background. People aren't obligated to like every black person. Just like how you're not obligated to like every white person. We don't even like every black person. We don't. So if some little nerdy, crusty little boy come up to you with no job, you gonna be like, oh my god, I love black people. I'll date you anyway just because you have melanin. What? That's not the way it works. You have to actually be physically attracted to the person. Everyone has their own taste here. And in Japan, unfortunately, their beauty standards are kind of weird. And so if you don't fit those, or you don't fit the specific standards of the guy that you like, that you're trying to date, then yeah, it is going to be hard for you. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. Look at my big ass nose and my big ass lips. Everyone doesn't like this. I might be light skinned in the US, but in Japan, I'm dark. Everyone doesn't like dark skin. I'm some people's nightmare. I look like a clown. But you want to know what? Lots of people do like me. Lots of people love me here. In fact, I feel like I get more attention here in Japan than I do in the US. Had I listened to these people on YouTube telling me, oh, don't go to Japan, it's bad, they don't like black people, yeah, your experience is going to be hard, they only like white people, yeah. I find it really funny too that whenever white people talk about their experience in Japan, I know you're going to say, oh, but didn't you just do that? Wait, hold on, people. They'll be like, yeah, like, Japanese people, most people are attracted to their own race, and then they'll like put themselves up on a pedestal. They'll talk about their experience being white in Japan. They'll be like, oh yeah, but Japanese people love taking pictures with me. They loved how white I was and how high my nose was. And I'm like, okay, like, nobody asked you how, like, what? Like, they'll just go on with like a whole rant talking about, their little experience being white in Japan. Like, getting way off subject. It's like, dude, this topic is on black people. Why are you even here? And so, anyway, my point is, don't let other people determine where you travel, where you go. If we're to be real with ourselves, everyone hates black people. It's not fair. It's not true for each individual person, but as a whole, there isn't really any country that you can go to in the world that isn't anti-black. It sucks, but it's the truth. The reality is that you have the opportunity to change people. You have the opportunity to show people that not all black people act, look, or whatever a certain way. My mother told me a story from a long time ago when she was a little girl and how she had joined the Girl Scouts, and one of the girls that she, basically had on her little team, she didn't like my mom at first. And pretty much near the end of their little, whatever you want to call their group thing, once it was coming to an end, the girl told her, she was like, you know what? I didn't like black people before I met you. I never actually met one. I was never friends with one. And so she said it a little bit differently, but she basically said that. She said, I've never met a black person before. I've never been friends with one. And, I thought that you were going to be X, Y, Z. And it really changed this girl's heart. You have that same opportunity. Japan doesn't have a lot of opportunities to interact with black people. Please don't give a bad impression of us. Please make us look good. Please don't come here and choose to be a stripper or, anything like that. That is not being an idol. So anyway, this video got way too long. I can go on forever and ever and ever. And my whole point to you is, please, 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 do not let anyone, including myself, determine whether you choose to come here or not. Pick your poison. If you're just going to spend all your time searching videos on how bad Japan is or on why you shouldn't come to Japan, maybe you don't really want to come here. You're looking for reasons to be angry. You're looking for reasons to not come here. You're looking for things to be scared about. It's going to happen. You're going to have bad experiences. You're going to have racist people talk to you. It's the reality. You have it in your home country too. Does a white person saying something ignorant to you make you think in your mind, like, oh my God, I have to leave America. I can't be here. I gotta book, the next flight to Ghana. Do you say that? No, you don't. Instead, you get angry and you attack the racist person that said that. Do the same thing in Japan. Someone doesn't like you, well, fuck them, move on. Someone else does. Everyone's not going to like you. You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. It doesn't matter how pretty you think you are. It doesn't matter how pretty, you really are. People will not like you. Everyone does not like me. I might be the finest thing in the world to one man, and to another guy, it's you. Everyone thinks totally different. Do not let other people, whether they're Japanese, black, white, whatever, determine where you travel. You have to experience the world yourself. And if you're going to live your life in fear of what everyone thinks of you, in fear of what Japanese people think of you, in fear of what, white people are going to think of you here, then you might as well stay indoors. Because the reality is, most people will not tell you what they're really thinking. It'll be subliminal. But once again, you have the option and the opportunity to change people's opinion and perspective. I do that all the time here. I give backhanded compliments all the time, not as a black person, but as an American. Because once again, when people see you, they're not really fixated on your color. They classify you based off of your nationality. So when I talk to people here, one of the first things that people say, especially my private students, they're like, oh, you're really reserved. I thought that you were going to be, really obnoxious, out there, whatever, because you're American. And I just have to collect myself. It's like, now if I said something like that to you in regards to you being Japanese, but we ain't gonna get into that in this video, I'll save that for another one. But I had the opportunity to change someone's opinion about my nationality. They see Americans as being really straightforward, really direct, really crazy, loud, out there. And then when they meet me, it's like, oh, she's quiet. My students have literally told me that you act Japanese. And it's like, so you're implying that only Japanese people can be civil, basically. While their comments are ignorant, I'm happy that I had the opportunity to educate someone and show them all black people do not act this way. All Americans do not act this way. My mother raised me well. That's why I'm not ignorant. You have that same opportunity. So don't worry about trying to be a people pleaser. Don't worry about trying to make people like you, etc. As long as you're being respectful towards the country, you are dressing appropriately for Japan, you are talking appropriately, you try your best to follow the rules of the country just like how you should do in your home country. You'll be just fine. Everyone's not gonna like you. Your experience will not be the same as mine. Your experience will not be the same as that other plus-size dark-skinned girl, whatever. It doesn't matter what she looks like. We all look different. We all come in different heights, different sizes, different whatever. Don't let other people determine where you will and will not travel or go. And ask yourself this: why are you so busy searching for reasons to not come to Japan? You would be a fool to not do a little bit of research. That's fine. But if you're spending all of your time, what do Japanese people think about black girls? What do Japanese girls think about black men? What? Why do you care? Why does it matter? Because they don't all think the same thing. That'd be like searching what do black people think about white people. Well, then you'd be discrediting all of the black women and black men that are married to white women and white men, and the ones that fetishize them too. There's exceptions to every rule. There's large groups of black people that love white people. Same goes for Japanese. So that's that. I'm sorry this went on for so long. I just wanted to get that out the way, so to speak. Please stop feeding into these channels. Please stop feeding into, these fake stories. A lot of these people just want to get views, they want to make money, and they realize that black people have an insecurity, and nobody wants to admit it, but it's true. A lot of people are insecure because they're black. I can admit that that was definitely me. I still feel that way sometimes. I'm not perfect. My life's not perfect. I have complaints. Look at my channel. I complain all the time. There's problems here. My life is not perfect. And a lot of it does have to do with the fact because I'm black. My experience is different. So I am not discrediting that. But the reality is, if all you're going to do is continuously feed yourself with negativity, continuously feed yourself with reasons why you shouldn't come to Japan, with reasons why Japan is horrible for black people, you're gonna just not come. And to be honest, I feel like a lot of you guys like watching these videos because it makes you feel like you're doing research, is actually preparing for Japan. As I've talked about before, that's not preparation, it's procrastination. So that's what you want to do, fine, go ahead, shoot for it. But you're only hurting yourself. The more you look into it, the more you learn, the less interested you will be in coming here. And it'll be the equivalent of basically deciding not to visit America because of gang violence or the police issues. How many people that visit America have actually even seen a gang? How many Americans have actually seen a gang before? Most of you all that are even living in America, living in gang-infested cities, don't even know real gang members. All you know is fake wannabe, gangsters living in the suburbs in their mama house. Same thing goes for people that travel. People come to America all the time. How many times do tourists actually die from, crossfire with gang violence, etc.? Pretty much never. Do they let, the crazy issues with the police, gun violence, this whole ICE thing going on, does that stop people from visiting the U.S.? No. They continue to travel and visit there because it doesn't affect them. And the reality is, sure, you're going to be that one-off person that has a bad, story or bad situation in the U.S. But the reality is, doesn't really happen often. It probably won't happen to you, and bad stuff happens everywhere. So if you're afraid of coming to the US because you fear gangs, the police, whatever, rape, you might just well not travel anywhere then, because it probably happens in your home country too. Japan is not perfect, America is not perfect, whatever country you're from is not perfect, they all have their own issues. This is not to discredit Japan's issues or to take away from, other people's stories, but the reality is, you have to remember that there's more to these people's stories than you're really seeing. And sometimes what you're seeing is actually the story that they're not telling. You can't. I'm gonna get into some real PC stuff and then I'm gonna end my video here. That is the equivalent of being disabled, being a disabled white person and living in a black neighborhood and saying that black people don't like you, they treated you badly, nobody wanted to date you. And it's like, most people, if you were to ask most people, they would not be willing to date somebody that is handicapped and in a wheelchair. We're also not considering the fact that maybe you're not attractive either. Those can be two big things for why someone doesn't want to date you. And when I say unattractive, it could be anything. It could be your weight, it could be your height, it could be your face, it could be your hair, whatever the case is. Everyone's not obligated to like you. You might have a hair type that people don't like. Not everybody likes curly hair. Not everybody likes 4 type hair. Not everybody likes straight, wavy, whatever hair. Everybody has their own taste. Is it fair? No, not necessarily, but it's true. Nobody wants to hear it, but it's true. So, that's whatever. It's beyond just dating, it's beyond just work, it's beyond just traveling. It's life in general. The truth hurts. And again, I'm not everyone's cup of tea. You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. What happens to me might not happen to you. We all live in different cities. Someone's experience in Tokyo is not going to be the same as someone's experience in Wakayama. Everyone's experience is so different based off of where you live, what you look like, so many different factors. Do not let these people scare you from living your dream in Japan. Come here first, live here first, have some bad days, get over those bad days, and then make your own decisions. Don't let other people choose what Japan is like for you. I can go on so much further, but this video is like over an hour at this point. So sorry. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about this, please leave a comment down below. I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. I'm just trying to be real with you guys. I don't see the purpose in all of these channels, all of these videos on black. Just live your life. Everyone's experience is going to be different. It's nice to have some insight. It's nice to have a few, things talking about their experience as a black person, things that happen to you. That's fine. I've made some videos like this. I'm guilty of having watched a ton of them too. And I'm also going to say that that was something that didn't help me with Japan. It just gave me unnecessary fear. I told you guys a while back, believe it or not, I was actually so terrified when I came to Japan. I thought so little of myself. My self-esteem was so low. I was afraid to look out the window in my taxi. I'm not kidding you guys. I didn't want to make eye contact with anyone. I was keeping my head down. I was so afraid because I was really fat when I first came here. I lost a lot of weight. I was afraid of people making fun of me. I was afraid of people thinking that I was ugly or scary looking, etc. Now looking back on that, I feel so stupid because nobody was thinking that but me. And why did I think this? Because I watched stupid videos and I read stupid blog posts from stupid people that were fear-mongering and simply looking to get views and get money. They were sharing their experience as though it wasn't just their own, but as though this is how all black people get treated. Everyone has this experience, and I believed it, even although I looked nothing like these people. Do not be me. I don't want you to be me. I don't want you to feel anxious when you come here, but I also don't want to lie to you. You are going to have bad days. You are going to meet bad people. You are going to have bad experiences. Do not let that change you. Continue to travel. Continue to live your life, even if it's not going to be in Japan. Do not let 1, 10, 20, 30, 100 bad experiences stop you from traveling the world and going out and doing your thing and living your dream. If you can survive being black in America, you can survive being black anywhere. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below, and if you have not already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would also appreciate it if you would follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and I also have a Snapchat and Facebook page as well. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.